Hello! Welcome back to another episode of the Essence of Tea podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Ditt with Sipping Streams Tea Company, and I'm outside with my friend Dean DeMaris, who is a world-class ice carver, and we're actually sitting in front of or at one of his pieces right now.
This was one of the first pieces I did when I got here. I had a first chance to do snow last year, and I wanted another chance to do it again this year. Being that we opened right before Valentine's Day, I thought this was a good one.
Yeah, that's really awesome because, we were here on opening day, and we had a picture, Brian and I had a picture right here on the seat, and just telling people about the competition, and so many. It's been around for a long time in Fairbanks, but
30 years.
Some people just forget, or people are new and they need to know what's going on, and that this is like a world-class event.
World caliber carvers here carving. It's beautiful to walk through. It's exhausting to go through.
But you also volunteer to get the park ready, just like we came to volunteer for a day to build the fun slides or like the big things that were going to last, so people have a chance to have fun and interact with the pieces. Yeah.
It's nice to have that, and it takes a lot. We had people show up here on January 1.
Wow.
I think January 2 or 3 was actually the first date. But they showed up the 1st of January. We had boots on the ground, pulling ice, clearing areas, clearing ways, getting everything ready to go. So it was great to see that we can still build this type of morale and still get this type of people up here, artists to help build this beautiful park.
Yeah, and it's all by volunteers for this nonprofit that's been around since.
Yeah.
How long has this organization?
30 years.
30 years. Wow, that's a long time. So pretty much my whole life in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so what's special about carving in Alaska? I know you've been a part of the board for a long time. So for Ice Alaska, why do people come here for this specific ice?
It's the big blocks. These blocks are big. Each block weighs 5,000 pounds.
5,000.
Down in the lower 48, we all work with smaller blocks, typically range starting around 300 pounds. So much smaller, much easier to work with. They're again hauling them in and out. Rarely do we do large exhibits on site. We still do a lot of prep work ahead of time, but they're easier to handle, easier to maneuver. Whereas working with the big blocks in the trees, in the forest, it's just a beautiful setting. You can't ask for much more. And to get a chance to come up here and carve in the cold conditions and truly make whatever you want to make. We don't have limitations. What we do are few and far between. So as an artist, to be able to come out and express yourself and show someone something new or open their eyes to something they hadn't seen before. It's a wonderful experience.
Well, and then the people don't realize that some people are just like, oh, this is just a park, but it's an actual competition.
Yeah.
And people are walking around you and your site, because it's not done yet.
Yeah.
And they're walking around the big machines, lifting these pieces of ice that you have to put gigantic ratchet strap kind of things on and turn them. And I heard that one of their pieces of ice, because it was so cold, or the temperature was just swinging so much that it just busted and shattered.
Yep.
5,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Just boom, gone.
Into shreds.
Yeah, well, and someone could have gotten injured too. It's pretty dangerous too. It's not just the tools that you have to be careful of. It's the
scaffolding. It's the guy next to you, having a good relationship with your teammates and knowing how they work, how to be safe, and how to be careful, because everything is dangerous. It's the tools we carry to slip and fall is at any given time you can slip and fall. And just walking through the snow, stepping on a piece of ice wrong, up on the scaffolding, not clearing your snow off, scaffolding icing over. It's everything you do is a danger. Everything you do is a risk. But there again, hopefully being cautious, being careful, taking your time, and planning it out right. And having a little bit of experience doesn't hurt.
And so I met you originally, 3 or 4 years ago when I was a vendor here, just selling tea, because they're like, we need a food truck. Well, I don't own a food truck, and I was like, well, if you want me to sell, I can do it inside the building, I guess, and work around that. And so I started. I don't even know how the conversation of tea came up, but somehow you started drinking our Dragonwell green tea. Have you always been a tea drinker?
Always been a tea drinker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've probably got 15, 20 different teas. Just in current use, there's probably another dozen teas in the background that I forgot about. But no, I've always had, and when I saw the Dragonwell, it just made sense. It's good tea, great tea.
Yeah, and so how did you get into tea? Where are you from? first of all?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, Texas.
Yeah. I just enjoy the tea, something different. I've had a few little shops that I've gone to for acupuncture, and they turned me on to different teas for different remedies for swelling, for different pains and so forth. So it was always a big help, and just keeping healthy, staying outside, and any little bit helps.
Yeah, well, because I saw you like one of the first days, and you're walking out to your site that's over here, which they won. Was it second or third?
Third place.
Third place for the multi-block competition, and I was just like, just saw him walking with his cup of tea, saw the little tea bag,
for him.
and I was like, you know, your tea's gonna get cold. You're like, I don't care, I'm drinking tea.
Yeah, I get it wet, get me warm enough. Can't spend a lot of time sipping on it, so you got to get it down and get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then I recently recommended, because I know, like, you know, this is a toll, especially 3 competitions in a row. I think you only have like 1 day in between, almost 1 or 2.
2 days in between.
And then you have like the award ceremony, and then like get ready, and then the next one.
Prepping for the next competition, then it starts.
And then it's a 24/7 essentially competition. Like the time doesn't stop.
No.
Like
you don't have to stop if you don't want to or if you don't need to.
Yeah.
If the weather's bad, you can work around it. If you had complications with your design or complications with the ice itself, then you can certainly work through the night. I've had many times myself where I've worked for 18, 20. I finished the last 48 hours off standing strong in one turn. So, you know, depending on how bad you want to get your design done and how bad you want to see it up, as you know, how bad you're going to work it out.
Exactly. And so, but you know, it's like an athletic event. You're physically moving, picking things up in extreme temperatures. I mean, sometimes when it warms up, it isn't necessarily a good thing.
No.
Or when it's snowing,
no,
and it's covering your piece.
Lose your tools. You misplace tools so quick.
Yeah, actually I saw some. So if you guys are wondering, like, you can see a lot of these videos on Ice Alaska's website or their YouTube channel. So you'll actually see like them filming the artist while they're in the middle of competition. Go, have you seen my brush?
Yes.
I don't know where my brush is.
Just a few minutes later, yes, it was here and it's still there, but it's under 3 or 4 inches of snow.
Yeah, but so, you know, with that, that's why I was recommending you the rooibos, because like you're like, oh, my knees hurt, you know. Well, granted, you know, it's just stuff that happens in life also on top of it. But just like giving you that strength and endurance. So, and so that's why I recommended the rooibos. But what do you think? I don't know if you've ever had it before.
Wonderful. No, I like not too flowery. I enjoy good flowers, but not too fragrant. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, it's just like, well, maybe it might help, you know, but over time, and you're a tea drinker, so that's it helps when you enjoy drinking tea and you can
find the right stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the other things that I know about this competition is that it brings people from all over the world. And I know years in the past I've sponsored the teas, and I've noticed all the different countries, they're like, oh, there's like good tea, and they kind of get excited about it. What is your favorite part about this community, like of the people that come, you know, and partake?
It's the like-mindedness, the advancement of the art, and just the pursuit of art. Trying to create something that's beautiful, that's appealing, that's challenging in many cases. Maybe challenging on the design, or challenging just physically to get through sometimes. Like you're saying, I'll burn through anywhere between 5,000 and 7,000 calories a day out here.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It'll really take a toll on your body, and over time, you know, during the competitions, I'm definitely burning 7,000 calories a day.
Wow. And so with that, you do have to be conscientious of that burnout, right? Like people's, you know, and even your mental health, and working together with the team.
Recognizing it not only in yourself but in others. You know,
exactly.
You don't want accidents to happen, and you don't want any mistakes. So keeping on top of it, keeping healthy, keeping clean, you know, that's a big bonus all the way around.
How did you get into ice carving? Because you're from Texas, you own a ice carving business.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you get into that? How did you start that, or have you always done
One day, and I was going through culinary school, and one day in class we did an ice sculpture, and literally that was it. That was the last time I had a thought of stepping foot in a kitchen or working in a kitchen.
It's a lot of work in a kitchen.
Yeah. I was at the point in my culinary career that I was going to go to Greece to start a sommelier. Sommelier study.
Oh, nice.
And this popped up right at that same time, and it was one of those had to make a decision. And I love wine, still do, but just ice carving's been an absolute thrill. It's taken me places, introduced me to people in different situations that have just been overwhelming at times.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Brian, is it okay if we go over there? So this is the piece for your multi-block team, right?
Yep.
It wasn't just you, it was a team of people.
We had a 4-man team. Fellow Texan from San Antonio. We had another guy from Michigan and a young lady from Indiana.
Nice.
And we've all worked together over the past 3 or 4 years, 8 and 10 for some of us, and pulled the team together kind of at the last minute. We had a guy back out, and girl stepped in. Sammy was awesome. She did wonderful. We worked 3 weeks together, her and I, doing some festival work, so she was just a good shoe-in for this event. Anyway, the sculpture itself is the story of Yuki Ona. She's a Japanese folklore. She would only come to you in the night, in the middle of the night, or at the point when you're about to freeze to death.
Oh, okay, perfect. Freeze to death.
Yes, so that's the name of frozen fate. Usually you meet her, she'll come to you as a beggar, she'll come to you as a lost traveler as well, and if you don't assist her or offer her warm tea, as one of the stories, offer her cold tea or cold water, and she feels insulted, and misfortune will follow you.
Oh.
And usually what follows you is the last thing you see is just her face. And several of the different stories, she'll turn your soul into butterflies. Thus the butterflies on the tree.
Oh yeah, I like the details of that. And I like how there's movement with the waves of, I'm guessing, is that air? Or is that
wind,
her,
yeah,
the
wind coming through.
And even like the hat falling off of the person. So is their soul being sucked or being frozen, or what is that movement
He's
exactly?
being frozen and his soul being sucked out, turning into a butterfly.
Did it give her some tea?
The butterfly, yeah, the butterfly already fell off. He had a butterfly in his hand. But every night we offered her tea.
Oh!
Yeah, we offered her hot tea every night. So we did not.
So you did not have the same fate.
No, we wanted to make sure we stayed on good grounds.
Nice. Well, how can people find out more about you, your business in Texas, ice carving, what you do?
My company name is Dallas Ice Effects. We've been in operation for 25 years in Dallas. I've carved ice in Dallas for the past 35 years now. You can find me on Facebook under Dallas Ice Effects, and you can also find me on Instagram at Dean the Dragon.
And so we can see pictures of other pieces that you've done
other
before
pieces I've done in Dallas, other travel pieces. I usually spend all of January on the road traveling to different cities and doing festival work, so got a lot of pieces up there, big pieces, not quite like this, but...
Yeah, not 5,000 pounds.
Not quite this much.
But yeah, well, cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us your journey, how you got into ice, and this wonderful, beautiful work that you get to essentially like regenerate every year.
Every year.
And that creativity, because there's so many people who have different talents and contribute to like the well-roundedness of a beautiful world, even though we have hard times and things like that. Finding
beauty within it. That's the challenge of every day. We all see harshness, we all see cruelty and corruption, but trying to find a little bit of hope to keep the next day going.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today for the Essence of Tea podcast. And check out Dean DeMaris and his other works on all his social media platforms. And if you're in Dallas, lucky you, because you can see more of his stuff in person.